Today, we're jumping right in to dissect a single night of aerial combat. A night that was, really, a brutal real-world test for some of the most advanced defense systems on the planet. We're going to look at the anatomy of what might just be a perfect defense.
So picture this. It's just after 2 in the morning in Bahrain. You're a Patriot missile operator, and your screen blips. One slow-moving contact. Okay, then another one. Then 6 more pop up. It's a swarm of kamikaze drones, basically crawling across the sky, and they're headed straight for a base where thousands of people are fast asleep.
And this gets to the absolute core question of modern air warfare. When an enemy throws everything they have at you at once, what they call a saturation attack, how do you possibly stop it? I mean, how are you supposed to stop something that is specifically designed not to be stopped?
Well, the first challenge, surprisingly, isn't about the technology. It's about basic math. It's a problem that soldiers have a great name for: swatting a mosquito with a Rolex.
Just look at the numbers here. It's kind of wild. You've got the Mosquito, a drone that costs maybe $30,000. And to shoot it down, you're firing the Rolex, a Patriot interceptor that costs $4 million. Now don't get me wrong, it works. But you don't get the Rolex back. And every single one you fire is one less you have for whatever's coming next.
And let's be clear, this Rolex is an absolute beast. I want you to imagine a 17-foot-long guided telephone pole. It's a 700-pound chunk of metal that hits 5 times the speed of sound in under 2 seconds. It doesn't even need to explode. It's a kinetic kill weapon. It just smashes through its target with pure, overwhelming force. But here's the twist. In Bahrain, those drones, they were never the real danger. They were bait, a distraction. While all the Patriot batteries were busy swatting mosquitoes, the real knockout punch was already on its way. A ballistic missile dropping out of the sky at Mach 13. A pretty smart move, create a commotion at the front door to sneak in through the roof.
So, Bahrain was dramatic for sure. But it turns out it was just the warm-up act. Now let's shift our focus to the skies over Kuwait, because this is where a small skirmish escalated into something nobody had ever seen before, which you could call a 380 missile perfect game.
380. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many missiles and drones were headed for coalition forces. It was, without a doubt, the single largest saturation attack a missile defense system had ever faced in history.
And the result? How many of those 380 threats got through? 0. Not a single one. For 3 straight hours of non-stop combat, at a pace that no one could ever train for, the crews pulled off a perfect record. 380 threats, 380 kills.
In this world of air defense, the word you never ever want to hear is leaker. It's exactly what it sounds like, a hostile threat that leaks through your defenses. It's the ultimate nightmare scenario. So to have a 0 leaker event against an attack of this size, well, it's almost unbelievable. You basically have to rewrite the textbooks.
So how in the world did they do it? It wasn't just one system. It was about a layered defense. The idea is that you have to be ready to fight threats everywhere, way up high, right down close, and at every speed in between.
And this table shows you the 2 extremes of that system perfectly. On one side, you've got THAAD, a system that reaches up to the literal edge of space to smack down ballistic missiles. We're talking intercepts over 60 miles high. Then, on the complete other end, you've got the CIWS, which is basically a giant autonomous Gatling gun firing 4,500 rounds a minute to shred anything flying low.
And over in Iraq, those CIWS systems were just brutally efficient. Some cheap little drone buzzes into range, and in less than 4 seconds, it's just a cloud of confetti. The system is totally automated. It detects, it tracks, and it just erases the threat from the sky. But look, a perfect defense isn't just about playing goalie. The real test, the truly crucial test, is whether you can keep fighting back while you yourself are under attack. Can you still launch your own missions?
This timeline from an airbase in Jordan is honestly just incredible. At 3:50 in the morning, the sirens start blaring. 2 minutes later, a missile actually hits the base. And just 3 minutes after that, an F-35 is already roaring down the runway, taking off. And get this, while the jet is gone, crews are on the runway patching the crater. The pilot comes back, gets more bombs, and takes off again, all while the attack is still going on. That is resilience.
So all these different events in Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, they all build to the ultimate test, the final boss, if you will,
defending the single most valuable asset in the entire U.S. military, a 100,000-ton floating fortress, the aircraft carrier. A carrier strike group's defense is just a symphony of interlocking systems. First, its main radar sees missile launches hundreds of miles away. Instantly, destroyers in the group fire their own missiles to intercept them in space. If anything slips past that layer, another set of missiles engages them in the atmosphere. And if, by some miracle, a threat gets close, the ship's own last-ditch missile systems provide a final lethal wall of steel.
And this really gets to the core lesson of this entire night. The ultimate purpose of a shield isn't just to block hits. The whole point of a perfect defense is to give your offense the freedom to strike back.
So that massive attack on the carrier, it bought them 15 minutes. 15 minutes where the flight deck was clear. And then came the counterpunch. In just 9 minutes, they launched 14 jets, Super Hornets, each loaded with thousands of pounds of smart bombs, screaming east to hit the very command bunker that ordered the attack.
So all this leaves us with a pretty fundamental question for the future. In this new era of warfare with hypersonic speeds and AI, who wins? Is it the side with the impenetrable shield or the one with the sharpest sword? Well, if this one night taught us anything, it's that you can't have one without the other.